So today then, what you need to stop doing to succeed. Hey love, you're listening to the Mums in Biz Show and I'm Nick Tawari. Every week I'll bring you the unvarnished version of what it means to be a mum running a brilliant business, what you need to be doing to get it to where you want it to be, and a healthy dose of how to get the heck out of your own way. Let's dive in. Well, hey there, and welcome to the Mums in Biz Show. I'm Nick Tawarick. I am your host for today. So today then, what you need to stop doing to succeed. If anyone has caught my live streams last week, you'll know I was being a little bit mysterious about this, and deliberately so, because it is really different to what nearly everyone else is saying. And if you follow all the noise in the online world today, what you will find is that it is full of advice of all the things that we should be doing. And really it's a really deep rabbit hole to go down, because unless we are fully in alignment with our businesses and with ourselves and with our purpose and what we want to achieve, then it's almost impossible to know exactly what it is that you need to be doing to create the results. But because we don't trust ourselves, and because we don't really believe in what's possible, and because we don't really have the confidence to show up as ourselves, as our unique expertise, then we find ourselves chasing all of the bright, shiny objects. Now, there is a finite number of ways to market your product and your service. And if you really get down into the detail of looking at all of those mechanisms that people are selling to you online, you will notice that. Now, I'm not saying they don't work. You absolutely need to use them, but you need to use the right ones. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Because going against the grain really is important in growing your business, and in way more ways than you think, because it's actually about authenticity. So why don't we dive into that then? The first thing I wanted to get across today, and please, if you're jumping on live, make sure you say hi so that I can say hi back, and that goes for you if you're catching the replay as well. Tell me where you're coming in from so that I can say hey. Now, what most people think is that if they just work hard enough, that things will change. I just need to get through to Christmas is something that I hear a lot at the moment. And in fact, I'm kind of in that bucket a little bit myself. But if I just keep going, if I just work hard enough, if I just sacrifice this one more thing, or that time with my children, or if I sacrifice the money that I need to invest in that area, then things will change. And we think that if we just show up more, if we're just more convincing, if we are just adding more free value, then people will want to work with us or buy our products. Hands up if that's you, or if you've been in that bucket before. I know I certainly have. And adopting each new social platform, each new technique, producing volumes of free content, attending more networking functions, cold calling more people. We think that if we just keep working harder and working longer and taking on more clients, then we will reach a tipping point. Now, the thing is, you will see growth. So if you do put in more effort, you will see some growth. It's just nothing like what you are actually capable of achieving. Does that make sense? That's what trips us up, because we do all this hard work and we start to see some growth and we think, oh, this must be the point where momentum is going to take off in my business. Obviously, I need to keep doing this. But you can't sustain that. See, what's wrong with this approach is that just working more, while it does produce some results, it isn't going to end up creating the business that we really want, especially as mums in business and as mums who are working still in our corporate roles, building our businesses alongside it. If that is you, you don't want to create a business that takes a huge amount of work to get there, because how the heck are you ever going to put in the necessary amount of effort to replace that corporate income and to put you in a place of security where you feel like you can leave corporate? So we start to feel a bit desperate, because if that's what we need to do, how can coming from a place of desperation and more effort create results that give us freedom? It can't. Most of us, we want our businesses to enable some flexibility. Okay, we want to be able to choose how we spend our time. Give me a yes in the comments if that's you. If that's one of the reasons why you wanted to get into your business, to be able to choose how much time you got to spend with your family, to be able to decide how you were making an impact, to be really connected with the things that you were passionate about. So, but if we build our business in a way that cannot survive without us, without more of the hustle approach, not only are we going to burn out, it's completely unsustainable and it's not scalable at all. You can't maintain that longer term. And I would hazard a guess that the business that you're striving for doesn't need you 100% 5, 6, 7 days a week, 8, 10, 12 hours a day. I'm going to go out on a limb and suggest that your ideal business probably only needs you working in it part-time and still to be able to grow. And so we inadvertently create this business that looks nothing like the business that we actually want to be working in. So let me ask you this. If you are really honest with yourself, are you hustling really hard? Are you subscribing to the mindset that if I just keep working harder, doing more, being on more social platforms, networking more, talking to more people, then my business will grow? Is that you? Because let me ask you another question, and I would love it if someone was able to be honest enough to admit it in the comments, but at least admit it to yourself. Is the resentment starting to show? Because what I find with most of the women that I talk to is that when we adopt that approach, and I say we because I have completely been there, you start to resent your business. You start to resent the stuff that you have to do to keep it going. And if you do see results as a result of all that effort, well, you start to wonder, okay, well, to Michelle's point exactly, she came from 12 to 14 hours a day and she doesn't want to go back there. You start to think, okay, well, if that's what it's going to take for me to grow this business, is that what I really want? And it starts to impact on your belief of whether it's possible or not. So it's not sustainable. It will make you sick. It will impact upon your belief that your business is even possible. It's definitely not the best way to grow. So what is it that you can do then? The resentment has been there, but you've worked hard not to have it. I know, but sometimes just ignoring those things doesn't help us either, does it? Because we hide those feelings away in the cupboard, but they're still there, and ignoring them actually makes them stronger. And the reason that I think that it's important to notice those kinds of feelings about our business is it's usually a red flag. It's usually our business trying to talk to us. It's trying to tell us that something's not quite right and we need to shift it. So let's talk about that then. What is it that you need to shift? If the work harder model is not the right model, and we've just talked about why that's the case, what do we do anyway? Okay, so when you stop trying to do everything, when you stop trying to be everywhere, when you show up how you want to show up instead of how you think other people want you to show up, the relief that you will feel will be immediate. I was absolutely astounded at how immediately the release came for me when I decided to start showing up just as me and not how I thought other people wanted me to show up. Or it wasn't necessarily even what I thought other people wanted of me, but what I saw, some of the big entrepreneurs, and I was like, okay, I need to be like that if I want my business to grow. And nobody was actually expecting that of me. But I was putting it on myself. And so it created all this extra pressure because it didn't feel natural. And so what I have learned and what I want to get across to you now and today is that your instincts are already telling you how to show up in your business. We just aren't tuned into listening to them yet. It's like when you become a mum and people say, well, you just have to trust your instincts. And yes, once we tap into that, it's really, really powerful. And we know the right things to do for our kids. You know, how many times have you been sitting there and you're watching one of your kids do something, or maybe something about their behavior is just, it's not quite right. There's something off about it. And someone else says, oh, they're just being this, or they're just being that, or they just need, and you're like, no, something's not right here. And you delve into the situation a little bit more and you realize, yep, actually there is something going on. Maybe they're not just being really misbehaved. Actually, they end up vomiting that night because they've actually been feeling a bit gross and a virus has been coming up. And so our instincts are telling us. Your instincts for your business are exactly the same. But let me go back to that analogy with your children. We had to learn how to trust those instincts. I was certainly not a naturally instinctual mother of a newborn baby. I had no freaking idea what I was doing. And it took a while for me to learn to trust myself and really build that connection with my daughters, and to be able to read them and to be able to know what was going on with them. Your business is no different to that. And actually, it's not just your instincts about your business. When it comes to, how do I describe this? Our maternal instincts are a much more visceral kind of connection that we have with our children. Your business instincts, that actually comes a lot more to trusting yourself. And that's way harder to do because we spend a good chunk of our early decades doubting ourselves and questioning ourselves and not feeling confident and not backing ourselves and not necessarily always making the choice that we think is right for us because we're worried about what someone else is thinking. And that is the frame of self that we bring into our businesses, which, by the way, we're doing at a time usually when we're feeling a whole lot of, I'm not really sure that I'm cutting it because I'm trying to work and mum at the same time. And let's not even go down the rabbit warren of what that brings up for us. Is this making sense? It's actually, we're bringing all of that baggage into, the baggage of our relationship with ourselves into our business. I mean, you can't not do that. We are connected beings. We thrive on purpose and connection. And for most of us, that's why we start our businesses, to make an impact in a certain area that we feel really passionate about. And so what you need to do then is to learn to trust yourself so that you can listen to your instincts. And by not doing all of the things and by allowing yourself some space, you will start to see the path forward for creating the results and the business that you really want. And you'll be able to listen to your customers more. And I'm talking about the ideal ones, not just the everyone, because we're so desperate to grow and to have income coming in that we work with everyone. Anybody taken on a client where you kind of knew that they weren't really a good fit for you, but you really needed the money and then really regretted it because not necessarily that they're a horrible person or anything like that, but just there wasn't that alignment, and so it was way harder than it normally would be. That's what I'm talking about. So if you've got that space to be able to slow down a bit, slow down enough so that you can listen and learn and figure out the right way to go forward before you accelerate. And then you are accelerating in the right way because you're accelerating on the path that you're meant to be taking. And because you're delivering what your ideal client actually want, and with energy, and you're in your flow and you're in your genius zone, and you are, doing the stuff that just comes naturally, where you can create transformation for those people that you're working with. And that's when you start to show up as who your business needs you to be, not just who you think you need to be. Does that make sense? I realize that there are so many nuances in what I'm saying to you today. And some of you may even be thinking I'm going down the woo-woo path. And I promise you I'm not at all. I'm absolutely talking about creating the headspace to learn how to trust ourselves and our instincts and do the tangible things, the slow things that we need to do to set the foundations right in our business, so that we can listen to our customers, so that we can listen to our instincts, so that we can do the things that are going to get us maximum impact for minimum input. Yeah, that's right, the right way. Maximum impact, minimum input. And I'm not talking about like half-assing it. I mean, doing the things that you know that you can do because they're in your genius zone. So they take less effort anyway because it's just natural. So in 12 months, when you stop hustling and you start getting super focused on the right strategy for you and for your ideal clients and for your business, you will have created the foundations and the results of that business that you've been dreaming about. And I try not to use those words too much because people, there's all these connotations with using the word dreaming and ideal life. And actually I teach all of that kind of stuff, having the right vision in place, in conflicted to confident. But for you guys, I know that you have a picture in your head of what great looks like when your business is done. And I confused someone when I said this last week, so let me explain what I mean by that. Your done business is the business that's generating amazing results. And it's the business where when you're working in it and on it, you feel really aligned and energized and absolutely love it. And you're making amazing impact for your ideal clients. And it's just exactly how you always dreamed it was going to be. That's what I'm talking about when I say creating the foundations for the results of the business that you've been dreaming about. Because imagine making a serious impact for dozens or hundreds or thousands of people and creating a transformation and a shift in their lives. And imagine the peace that comes with being really, really true to your message. When I'm really true to my message, I just feel calm and confident because I know that I am saying things to you guys that is completely aligned with my purpose and the stuff that I passionately the stuff that I passionately believe makes a difference for my clients, and that's based on my experience. And so that's what I'm talking about, your genius zone. And so being completely aligned with your purpose means that you will have the space to make changes in your life right now that will move you towards where you really want to be. Because it's not all about money and results, right? That's not what drives us. It's what we're able to do with those physical outcomes, the experiences that we can have, the way that we're able to be as a parent, the way that our lives start to shape up when we've got a different tangible or monetary result. And so it also means that we have that space to be open to opportunity, so that we start to realize that our business is one piece of that puzzle that creates our ideal life. And that's a wrap for today's episode. If you enjoy listening to the Mums in Biz show, I would love for you to leave us a review on iTunes and be sure to post a snap of you enjoying the show on Instagram and tag me at nicole.tuerick. You can also join in the conversation with me in the Mums in Biz tribe on Facebook. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode of the Mums in Biz show.